Okay, let's dive into this. When you hear the name Curie, your mind probably jumps straight to Marie and Pierre, right? Scientific royalty, radioactivity, a whole bunch of Nobel Prizes. But there's another name, another Nobel-winning Curie, whose story is just as incredible, just as complex. Frédéric Joliot-Curie. I mean, seriously think about that question. What happens when you marry into a family that's basically the benchmark for genius? Do you get lost in that massive shadow, or do you find a way to build your own legacy? Well, for Frédéric Joliot, that wasn't just some thought experiment. It was his reality. So how did this brilliant young physicist even get into the orbit of the most famous family in science? Well, it all started exactly where you'd think it would, in the lab. And what's really wild is just how fast this all happened. I mean, look at this timeline. In 1925, he's working as an assistant for the one and only Marie Curie. Just 1 year later, he marries her daughter, Irene, who was a brilliant scientist in her own right. And then only 4 years after that, he's got his doctorate. He didn't just marry into the family, he earned his place in the scientific community. I love this quote from their daughter because it tells you everything you need to know about their partnership. They weren't a brand. They were two distinct, powerful minds working together. They shared a name in life, sure, but in their work, they stood as individuals on a shared mission. And it was that unique dynamic that led them to their biggest breakthrough. Right. So Marie Curie had discovered natural radioactivity, elements that were just radioactive. But Frédéric and Irène, they were about to do something that sounded like science fiction. They were going to create it from scratch. This was the discovery that would cement their legacy forever. So let's break this down because it's a huge deal. Before them, radioactivity was something you found. You had to dig it out of the ground. They figured out how to take normal, stable, everyday elements and make them radioactive on purpose. It was basically the atomic age equivalent of alchemy, a total game changer. And the process itself was just so elegant. They take something totally ordinary, like aluminum, and just blast it with alpha particles. And what happened? The aluminum atoms literally transformed, turning into a new radioactive version of phosphorus that had never existed before in nature. They had made something radioactive right there in the lab. And for that incredible achievement, they were awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1935. This made them only the second married couple ever to win a Nobel, following, you guessed it, Irene's parents. The Curie dynasty was now up to 5 Nobel Prizes. But just as they reached this peak, the world outside the lab was about to change everything. So at the exact moment Joliot-Curie is digging into nuclear chain reactions, work that was so cutting edge it was mentioned in that famous letter Einstein sent to President Roosevelt, World War II breaks out. Suddenly, the quiet pursuit of science was over. It was time to pick a side. I mean, just look at the contrast here. It's staggering. On one side, you've got the respected professor, the top-tier nuclear physicist, and on the other, you have a resistance fighter who smuggled his own research out of France to help the Allies, who founded a resistance group, and who was literally in a basement making Molotov cocktails to fight tanks during the liberation of Paris. And he wasn't just some passive supporter. He was all in. He became a leader in the resistance. He joined the Communist Party, a decision that would have huge consequences for him later on. For Frédéric, fighting fascism wasn't just a political choice. It was a deep moral duty. So after the war, Joliot-Curie is a national hero. He's the guy they put in charge of France's entire atomic energy program. But the man who fought for freedom was about to find that his own political convictions didn't fit into the new black and white world of the Cold War. And this table really captures the tough paradoxes of his later years. He builds France's first nuclear reactor, an incredible achievement. But he gets fired from his own commission because of his communist ties. He becomes a leading voice for world peace, but then accepts the highly controversial Stalin Peace Prize. And in the end, the very science he gave his life to, radiation, was almost certainly the cause of the liver disease that killed him in 1958, just 2 years after his wife Irene died from the same thing. And this is just so important to his story. Near the end of his life, the very man whose research helped unlock the power of the atom, he stood side by side with figures like Albert Einstein to sign a manifesto begging the world to abandon nuclear weapons. He understood the promise, but he also saw the terrifying danger of his own work. So we're left with this really heavy question. Frédéric Joliot-Curie was a Nobel Prize winner, a war hero, a political outcast, and a passionate peace activist. His life is this powerful reminder that science never, ever happens in a bubble. It's always tangled up with the conscience of the scientist and the complex, messy world they live in.